88.5 The Truth. Good morning. This is Brian, and I have a special guest in the studio, Angi Idel, Heath Jackson's mom, here with me. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, we're having a busy week this week, aren't we?
We are. We're going everywhere.
That's right. So, as you're hearing this, we've already been on Rise and Shine,
yes.
And I want to say thank you to all the folks over there.
Calvin Floyd.
Calvin Floyd,
right.
And just the people who make that show work.
Yes.
They get up every morning I know what it's like to get up early. It's not easy to just turn things on, and especially people who sing in the morning.
That's right.
You probably have some experience with that.
I have a little experience with that, and the voice doesn't work quite as well in the morning as it does later in the evening.
Especially if the night before it was getting used for something else, right?
That's right.
So I just want to welcome you to the show. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. This Sunday night.
Yes.
Big concert, Dave Barnes in concert. And this was a concert that Heath had worked really hard to bring to town. Right. I don't really know of anybody who listened to as much and varied music as Heath did.
Right.
Was he always that way?
He's always been that way from the time he was very young. He was surrounded by music. And I used to sing in a women's trio, and so when I would go to practice, I'd come home and sometimes I'd play the songs for Heath. And of course, Heath being who he was, he would always make fun. That's old people music, Mom, or that's, I don't like that, or, oh, yeah, that's cool, Mom, I like that. So he always gave me his opinions, but he always just had an ear for it. And it's just, I think it was just a talent that God had given him to use. Yeah.
And he had a way of promoting other people's music as well. He's a great performer himself, but, somebody like Dave Barnes or Dave Wirtz, folks that he knew were great, but maybe the world hadn't found them yet.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, Heath was pushing for this concert before Dave Barnes ever had a hit.
Right.
And it just happened that while he was pursuing it, that this song exploded. God
yes.
gave me you. And so it's kind of a talent some people have of sniffing out great artists and knowing about them before they break.
Well, I think the last visit Heath and I had together, he was so excited about the concert. And it was August 31st when we visited. And he was sharing with me the excitement of him bringing it. And was looking for sponsors. And he was just so excited. And I have to admit that that song now, God Gave Me You, is my ringtone on my phone because I think of it as, that God Gave Me You reminds me of, God gave me Heath.
That's right.
And not only, of course, the Lord, but he gave me my precious son, Heath. So that song's very special to me.
Yeah. Well, I know he's going to play that for us on Sunday night, but one of the things that I'm most excited about is the stuff that's going to go on before and after Dave Barnes. Now, here's one thing I do want to say. Dave Barnes has been very accommodating
right.
in all of this, and his management team has as well. Dave has agreed. He said this should be a celebration, a tribute type thing. He, in the moment that when this the tragedy happened and we lost Heath, it was, Dave didn't think this is the appropriate time for him to come in, not
right.
having known him, to be part of a memorial service, but he thought, if you want to do this as a tribute, then I would be glad to take part in that. And so he's coming and he's allowing himself to kind of be sandwiched between some of Heath's friends, co-worship leaders. See, Heath played with so many people. It's hard to just pick a few to represent him in this tribute.
Right.
But I know that some of the people that have been chosen, and they're not just people Heath had played with, but people he'd known for pretty much all of his life, right?
Yes. A lot of his friends. I think it's funny because I bought Heath his first guitar at 15. And I think one really special thing, he had a special guitar strap. And I remember when he and I went and purchased it, I bought one. It was white leather and it had a cross. And even back then he said, Mom, when I play my guitar, I want people to see that represents Christ. And a lot of these guys that are going to be playing, Heath met very, very young and started so fresh playing. And the funny thing to me is Heath always thought, well, he wasn't quite good enough to play with some of these guys. And he would talk to me a little bit about that. And I said, Heath, God's blessed you with a great talent. So, he was really humble and And I tell you, he would just be amazed at the love that's been shown to him since his passing, of course.
That's right. Well, it's a good chance for people to come out and be a part of the fellowship. And, it's hard to think of. We know that one event doesn't heal all that there is. I know in the wake of Heath's death that you have some things that you want to accomplish. Right. Why don't we play a song? Okay. We'll come back and we'll talk about some of the things that you're doing and maybe some things that our listeners can help do. Okay. We'll talk about it more. Why don't we play the music? We're going to play one of Heath's favorites. This is the Jesus Culture, How He Loves on 88.5, The Truth. Okay. Ready? You doing okay?
Yeah.
88.5 The Truth, that's the Jesus Culture, How He Loves. We're playing one of Heath's favorite songs. Heath's mom in the studio, Angi Idel, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you, and we're looking forward to Sunday night, to the Dave Barnes concert and the Heath tribute. 6 o'clock at Calvary Baptist Church. You can get your tickets in advance, $12 at the Sanctuary Christian Bookstore or Calvary Baptist Church. At the door, there'll be $15, so you get a chance to save a couple of bucks. But this is a truth fundraiser, so we appreciate all the support you can give us. And Angi, I know in the wake of Heath's death that you've been really adamant in pushing the truth and supporting the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know that I look over your shoulder and a sign that Heath wrote says, "I love my job." You know probably better than I do, how he talked about it outside of his work. What did working in a station, or what did this mean to him?
It meant everything to him. It allowed him an opportunity to share his love of music, but more importantly, his love of God and of Christ and what Christ had done in his life, how Christ had just given him such a joy and a freedom for worship. And I think that toward the end especially, Heath had really gotten motivated for the youth, and for all of us really, to just worship totally, with total freedom, giving all praise to God. And he just had absolutely just poured his whole heart into total worship. And I know with the group, the Imminent Worship services that are held each month now for all people, not just the young, but Heath was really involved in that. And I feel like since his voice has been silenced, that my voice needs to carry on his love of worship. And I feel God is calling me into some area. I'm not sure yet what. I just have to sit patiently and wait on the Lord. But I do know that he loved this station, and that's what I want to ask everyone, please, to come out and to support the station, not only just with this particular fundraiser, but it's a nonprofit station, and you need our support. And it's important for our community to have a venue such as this, a family venue, where you can have your children in the car and listen to praise and worship, listen to prayer, and be prayed for as you're driving,
right,
or as you're working at home. And it's just such a positive venue. And I would encourage everyone, please, not only to support this fundraiser, but to support the truth in every way that you can. I know that that's something that he personally did, and it really touched my heart. And I want to say thank you to the Truth and to PMB Broadcasting for the love that you've shown to our family and our loss. And it has been very tragic, but it has just shown me the love that you all have poured out to us.
Right.
And for those of you who are just listening, please know what a wonderful organization this is, and the love that they've shown to our family has just been, it can only come from God.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. And it's been our pleasure because, we consider Heath family too. And, one of the things that it gets stirred up in times like this is that immediately, as you're grieving, you immediately say, I don't want this to happen to anyone else.
Absolutely.
I don't want anybody else to go through this. And I know that's been on your heart lately. Yes. What about some things in the future? Like, how do you see yourself, what's God putting on your heart?
I really feel like I want parents to know that, number one, you have to raise your children up in the way they should go. We are commanded that in the Bible. And also, if you're a single parent, you still have to take your children to church. Children are on loan to us, And I want people to know that if you have children and every Sunday morning you wake up and you have breakfast and you just let your kids watch cartoons and you just kind of skittle around the house and do your work and you're not worshiping God, then you need to be, because they're on loan. And I feel like each one of us are going to stand accountable, held accountable, and stand before the Lord, and we're going to have to answer to how we raise our children. And I'm so blessed that growing up, I come from a family of very religious great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and I knew that growing up, that and raising my children, that I had to be in church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. We were there. And now looking back to see that my son was taken at 25 and my son was ready to meet the Lord, there's no greater peace than for me to know that the Lord did have to take my son. My son was ready.
Right.
So my mission is to let people know there's no excuse for not raising your children up in church. There's no excuse. Mm-hmm. God just simply asked for us to give our children back to Him.
Right.
And to raise them. And also victims' rights. I feel really, really strongly about we as victims of violent crime. We need to be represented. And I don't know really what, but I feel led that maybe some way advocating for more rights for victims.
Well, I know it's very soon. And
it is soon, yeah.
It's, and I know God will begin to fill in all the blanks
He will.
That we may have right now. But I just want to say thank you for taking something like this and letting God be glorified in it. It's not easy, but I remember one of the things that we hang on to in times of tragedy, even if we can't understand it, is how God can be glorified. But we've seen it. We've seen it in this, and God has not just blessed us with Heath's life, but He's also now blessing us with people who come in kind of out of the woodwork, people that you didn't even know, who are listening and who are being affected and being influenced. And just yesterday I had someone come in and say, God's put it on my heart to come in here and talk to you because I listen to Heath a lot and I just want to help in some way. And these things, they happen regularly.
Wow.
And so it's a blessing for us. And I think kind of a testament to who Heath was, but also just the idea of ministry in the radio, or using the radio as ministry, something that Heath was sold out to. And
absolutely.
I just I look forward to it continuing through his legacy, and also for those that he touched. And who knows? I mean, it's could be generations, affected by this. And
I would love to share, if you don't mind. When Heath came to see me for the last time, he called me into my office and we were talking, and he said, "Mama, I really want to go into the ministry. He said, I feel God has called me and I want to go to seminary." And he talked a little bit about, the finances of it. I'm not really sure. And I said to him, "Heath, just pray. God will make a way." And we had a great little visit. We hugged, and it was just so wonderful, our last time together. And I think the amazing part of all of this is Heath had a ministry and didn't even realize it.
That's right.
God used him in such a great way. And I do, too, have people come up to me and say things like, "Oh, I listened to your son," or "Oh, I loved your son," or "Oh, you're Heath's mom." And, as a mother, that's the greatest blessing anyone can ask for, is to say, "Wow, you had a great son."
Right.
Because we, of course, always thought he was great, but to have other people come up, it's just a blessing and a testament to what God can do for an empty vessel.
Yeah.
And if you allow God to use you, He will. And I'm grateful that Heath allowed God to use him.
Amen. Me too. And I'm glad you're here sharing that with us.
Well,
and we look forward to Sunday night.
Yes. I want everyone to come, please.
That's right. Come on out and be a supporter. If you can't come, it doesn't mean you can't help support. You can donate online at 885thetruth.com, and there is a place where you can say that you are donating in Heath's honor.
Yes.
And so do that, 885thetruth.com. You can also listen live online and see videos there of Dave Barnes. He's a top 10 artist coming in concert this Sunday night to Calvary Baptist Church. Tickets in advance, $12, at the door, $15. And it's also a special benefit concert in tribute to Heath Jackson. Thank you, Angie, for being here.
And thank you for having me. God bless you.
All right. Well, we'll get back to the music now. Thanks for listening to 88.5 The Truth.